versus SpongeBob.
So we're back with another request, and we're going to get started with Man Ray.
2, 1, go!
Say go! So I just picked just some kind of ideal location, and I'm picking Patrick because one of the moves that I came up with is for him, and it could be some kind of different variation of what it is. So when he grabs, so today is all about Man Ray for a paid DLC character. I'm sure because it'll probably take a while if they ever implement him into this game. He'll be paid DLC, I'm sure, and this is the ideal map because it's from SpongeBob, and SpongeBob and Patrick are responsible for unfreezing and basically freeing Man Ray, who is one of the villains and the main arch nemesis and one of the greatest nemesis for Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. I was gonna say nemesis of SpongeBob and Patrick, but Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy they end up freezing him to stop him from his evil doing devious plans of trying to take over Bikini Bottom, and he was also targeting them because his main goal was to destroy and put an end to Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, and also be able to dominate Bikini Bottom and take full control. So those was his main goals throughout his particular agenda for this character. So it's just a little bit of backstory for him. If you guys don't know who Man Ray is, it's from the SpongeBob episode, and he first appeared in the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 3 episode. So I'm going to also be referencing that episode quite a bit throughout this character idea video today. So I talked about his goals and just things that he wanted to do, and with his whole plan of seeking world domination. So that was his little goal. But now we're going to talk about the stages as usual, just to start, and just everything that went down when SpongeBob and Patrick accidentally freed and unfrozen and just freed Man Ray. It all went down in the Mermalair. So I thought this would probably be an ideal stage for Mermaid Man to come out with him, or for Man Ray. I keep on saying that Mermaid Man, getting it mixed up. But Man Ray can come out with Mermalair because that's where he was originally debuted in the episode. So why not come out with that particular stage? I did some more digging and some research, and Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy lived in Shady Shoals, which was the home of elderly sea creatures, and it was basically the residence of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy at the time for the future Mermaid Man and future Barnacle Boy at the time. So I thought maybe that could be an identical stage that would be perfect for Man Ray. So why not have him release not only where he started and debuted from the show, for the episode in the Mermalair, or he can just be able to come out with the Shady Shoals, or maybe outside of that particular home or that particular residence, because he's going to plan his attack. His devious plan to attack and destroy that residence and stuff. So I thought that would be some kind of cool idea to come out with for a particular stage. So those are the only stages that I could come up with for Man Ray for this character request and character idea video. And I just thought it would be a perfect spot for him to initiate an attack and be bundled with a DLC pack. You get Man Ray and his alternate costumes I'm going to get ready to get into in a matter of seconds, and you get that stage as well. One of those two stages. So let's get into the alternate costumes. And if you guys watched the show and remember that one particular episode for Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy that I'm going to be referencing for a little bit, he was wearing this Tickle Belt, and Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy originally gave him this particular belt to keep him under control, to stop him from committing crimes and doing the wrong things. They wanted to change him for the better and for the greater good, and to be a good, positive person from the Bikini Bottom and be a good guy, to stop his evil doings, to put him to change his ways and so much more. So he would be considered a hero and help other people, to help the residents of Bikini Bottom and to make him into this big good person. So the purpose of the Tickle Belt was given to him by Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy for that sole purpose. So each time he would make a mistake or he would do something wrong, they would activate the Tickle Belt. I really love this episode. It's one of my favorites. And I'm sure some of you guys recognize this episode and really will enjoy it as well. And just it brings back so many memories just thinking about it. So I just thought, if he's not, Man Ray wasn't really wearing the belt from the get-go, he could just already, that could be an alternate costume. They can give him the belt. The player can select between the Tickle Belt and without the Tickle Belt for his skin for an alternate costume. So if he's wearing the Tickle Belt when he comes out, then when they release him, if he was implemented into his game, they could take away the Tickle Belt and just for alternate skin, he could just be his original self. So it was just the whole purpose of the Tickle Belt that was really funny. And every time they would tickle him, he would just laugh. And it was just so much fun just watching that episode. I never get tired of seeing that episode. So this was from the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 3 episode. So another costume that I came up with is a Headless Memory, because he was still able to talk even without his head. So why not? If you can talk without your head, and I'm sure he can be able to move around the map and be able to fight without his head. So he would have his own little intuition to even be able to track the opponent and still be able to do some serious damage with or without his head. So I think it'd be a pretty funny thing for players to want to pick him up and start playing with him actively in the game as their main or favorite character or favorite villain from the SpongeBob universe. They can destroy people without his head, and then it'll just make them look that good. He can beat you without his head, and he can basically defeat you with him without his head. So I thought that would be something funny to implement as an alternate costume. So one more costume, I didn't really know about this. I don't think I really seen this episode. It was when Man Ray made his return. It's called Man Ray Returns. Is that particular episode for the title that I'm referencing. And he wore a Evil Vacation sort of outfit. And in this particular episode, he went on vacation from his evil. He took a break from being evil for a while for that particular weekend. And the thing is, he ended up renting Squidward's house while Squidward was away on his own particular vacation. So he had in this particular episode, he had like a red shirt, like it looked like a Hawaiian shirt, and just as you can see in the sky from the background, it had that particular design on the shirt. It was red with the sky flowers, something like that, without the anchor that you can see. See the yellow and blue and the pink in the background. It was designed that way, but it was a red Hawaiian shirt, and just a summer outfit. And he had green shorts while he was just chilling in Squidward's house that he was renting for the weekend to take a break from being evil. So I called this outfit the Evil Vacation, sort of Evil Vacation Man Ray, or Evil Vacation sort of a cosmetic or an outfit that he can wear. So that was from the Man Ray Returns episode. But that's the last final alternate costume. So 3 different costumes, with or without the Tickle Belt, depending on how he's released. So he can wear the Tickle Belt, and he can have his head missing, Headless Memory, and then his Evil Vacation sort of alternate costume to be implemented. Now I'm going to get into the taunts. I was just talking about the Tickle Belt. Why not have, it was called the Big Laugh Tickle Belt song. They can have that as a little bit of a soundtrack or some kind of sound effect that plays that could be unique, and I think players will buy him even more just because of the belt, because the Tickle Belt could play for a song. So I put the Big Laugh Tickle Belt song as a taunt, and it could play for a few seconds while Man Ray is laughing uncontrollably. So it'll be pretty fun. See how Patrick does this? It'll just make that sound, play that song, something like that. It was it's for the episode. And you can hear this song from that same episode that I referenced, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 3, from the TV show, from that particular episode when they were trying to stop him from being an evil person. But that's the only taunt I could really come up with, and I came up with a victory quote to follow up with his quote that he said from the show, "I'm ready to rule the world and its riches." So that could be some kind of victory animation. So when he gets the dub, he can say that at the screen. But I think that'd be too long of a taunt. So I think it'd be more fitting for a victory animation. He says, "I'm ready to rule the world and its riches," when he was holding the ray gun. But now I'm going to get into the moveset, and just to wrap up. So I came up with quite a bit of things, and I was doing some more research for him. And it turns out that he has so much more abilities that has not been revealed and never was revealed in the actual TV show and from the episodes themselves. It doesn't matter how many episodes it has been. I think he's been in quite a few of them. But it was saying how he has other hidden abilities that hasn't really been revealed. He has super combat abilities and just they don't know any other sort of techniques that he could possibly have. And I had some trouble with it, but I was able to come up with some particular weapons and different things that he used and utilized in the shows from the episodes, from the same Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 3 and just some other moves. But now, to start, I came up with his destructive lasers, because he can already originally was able to shoot these from his hands. So that I call it destructive lasers. So he can probably just be able to shoot lasers for like a basic attack. Or something like that. He could shoot it maybe 3 times, or maybe it could be a single laser when the player just hits the attack button on their controller or whatever platform that they're playing on to shoot lasers. An evil throw that I came up with, and when he was destroying Patrick, see, that's why I brought him out for this particular video. See how he does this? He could do a bigger variation. It could be a different variation of that grabbing mechanic, but it can be a bigger slam and much more powerful. See, it throws him down. It could be something like that, but he can grab him and just do a big slam, because he was slamming Patrick just like this. But the only difference was they had to get the Tickle Belt to activate, and he was still slamming him, but it eventually caused him to keep on laughing from the Tickle Belt. He was so tickled and just giggling, laughing nonstop. But I think that could be a cool little move that he can do, and just do a big giant slam, just like with Patrick, and that's why I brought him out. See how he just tosses him around a series of times, a few times, but he can do a bigger slam. It doesn't have to be multiple times, but he can grab and just a quick grab and slam for a big power move. So I came up with that. It could be way more powerful than Patrick's little toss. But again, that's just from the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 3 episode. So that's most of where I came up with some of these ideas. The power glove that he wore, that he ended up getting his hands on, I came up with this unique charge meter, and he can wear this particular power glove on his hands throughout the fight. So as soon as the fight starts, he's gonna already have the power glove equipped, but it won't be active. So I came up with this little unique mechanics for some kind of balance. So once the battle starts, it'll begin to charge immediately when the fight starts, and once it's fully charged up, the player can choose to release it whenever he or she is ready to attack with his power glove. I think this is one of his most iconic, this could be one of his most iconic moves in the game. And then when they release it, it can unleash that giant electrifying attack that he did in that same episode that I keep mentioning. So a giant electrifying attack that can do some serious damage if he hits it, and it can also launch the opponent pretty far. So that way he can't use the power glove right away. It'll be on his hand, it'll be on one of his arms, but it'll need to be charged, and it can be used to make a good comeback. So when the player is in danger of losing, they can probably, if they can hit that power glove move, unleash the power glove attack, electrifying move, they can be able to get that comeback and take a life and get a point, or maybe take a stock away and just be able to get a clutch point to end the battle to win, something like that. So I came up with that, the power glove with a charge meter mechanic. I don't know what you guys think about that. And he was seen flying in the show. So I came up with just a little bit of a flight where he can hover for a few seconds for a short period of time, and also to combo with his flight, with the ability to fly, he can be using his ray gun that he used also from the show. So this ray gun can be used as a projectile attack that he can shoot across the screen, and he can also use it in midair. So I think that'll be a dope little move that he can implement when he's being played, and that way he just can't stay in the air forever. So the player can't just play keep away forever. He'll eventually come down out of the air from his flight when he's been up for too long, or been in the air for too long. So that would be something that I would implement with his ray gun. And when he's not in the air, he can be able to still shoot it across the screen whenever the player chooses. So that's a cool little projectile attack. And see, he shoots, and maybe he could charge it up too. I didn't put this in my notes, but maybe he could charge it up. He could charge up the ray gun for a bigger blast to do more damage. And just to wrap up, I came up with a little evil combo, basic attack. See, Patrick just uses his belly, but just with, I thought he's stuck on the edge, it's just doing that. But I came up with an evil combo, so he hits you twice with a punch, 2 punches, and then he can follow up with a third, and just launch you for like an evil punch, something like that. So I came up with an evil combo for Mermaid. And then his last attack, World Domination, I had to come up with that with a little move name, because that's what his goal was. World Domination could be a flying super punch similar to Korra's, but you don't even need to charge it. It could be something. See how Shredder flies across the screen? It could be something like that, but it'll be called World Domination, where he can just do like a super punch to go full screen. So it could be much better than Shredder, and maybe something similar to Shredder's in his distance, but it'll be a little bit stronger if landed. But see, with Korra, she has to charge hers. So that's all I can really come up with as far as his moveset. And just like I was saying prior to talking about the moveset, he already has all these different super combat abilities, so he's already going to be a force to be reckoned with outside of his ray gun, the power glove that he has, and those lasers that he can shoot. He can already be able to fight for himself and have some good moves for some regular light attacks and stuff like that. Some evil light attacks, I'll say, for his evil combo I came up with. So let me know what you guys think about these ideas. I just think that he's a good pick, just like I did with Bubble Buddy and Doodle Wob. Mermaid is just an iconic villain they can pull from SpongeBob's universe and add into this game. And they're the two responsible who freed him in the first place. And if it wasn't for SpongeBob and Patrick accidentally freeing him and in the Mermalair, he would have still been frozen for years and years on. So that's gonna be it for Mermaid for the character ideas. Let me know what you guys think. He definitely is a great villain, and I think he deserves to be in this game. And if they were to add another character from SpongeBob, it definitely Mermaid could be a top candidate.